The orphans are raised by an entire village and are expected to return the favour once they grow old enough to work. Ooh, sounds a bit sad. But welcome back to Boring Dead Gaming. We're going to be playing some more Roadwarden today, so let's dive straight in. And it got quite interesting last time because... what's this? With some time and effort I managed to catch a fish. Okay. We're going to travel. It's still early. We've got 11 hours before dusk. We're going to travel south to this Elder's Cave, and I think there's someone in there who is purported to be a great healer, and we're going to see if we can convince him to heal the plague in Old Pagos. Let's see how that plays out. Two blue-tailed monkeys are jumping on the rocky mountainside, chasing each other and screaming cheerfully. The old druid is standing upright, giving you a harsh look.
You cut off the root of the beholder, he says without hesitation. It didn't belong to you.
Before you respond, he turns away and washes his hands in the spring. It takes him a few minutes to look at your lips. Can we talk about Phoebe, Photios' daughter?
He's still trying to get a spirit rock.
After your nod, he closes his eyes slowly, allowing the gentle breeze to shake his beard.
Asterion mentioned the man's anger and denial. There's pride in his efforts, but also pain, as he cannot accept his daughter as the spirits have shaped her.
He opens his eyes, leads you to the main path, and looks northwest, at the very distant mountains.
Behind Old Pagos you'll find the monastery, with its respectable monks and their haunting temple. Speak with them, with nae anger, but also nae foolery. Maybe Photios will listen to the right's followers.
I could ask about the hunter. I will get around to the plague. I just want to ask about a couple of things first. Have any hunters from creeks visited?
Here, in the opposite corner of the peninsula. Most people don't have a beast to carry them for miles, stranger.
His playful tone suddenly gets worried.
Or do their struggles with meat get so grim that they ever consider such dangerous trips?
He takes a deep breath and leans back.
I can't force beasts to jump under one's blade. The forest wouldn't trust me anymore.
I bring news from Old Pagos. A terrible plague has befallen it. His eyes widen.
What did you say? A plague?
You tell him everything you've heard about the symptoms. He attentively observes your lips and sometimes asks you to clarify some details, though you usually don't know how to answer him. He finally nods and then turns away and approaches the garden beds, lost in his thoughts. You wait in silence. He speaks after a short break.
There's nothing I can do.
His words are trembling. You'll have their blood on your hands.
I wish things were different, but I'll ne'er cast away this shell for their sake. I need to stay among the living. 'Tis my duty to help howlers, and it's ill and weak.
He pauses, then takes a deep breath.
To take care of my wife.
No soul says you have to sacrifice yourself.
Healing takes knowing. To heal a shell consumed by forces I don't understand, I must force one's spirit to crush the weakness, like a blind child trying to trample a spider. I could help one soul, maybe two, but I cannot clean an entire place. I may die trying, I may die succeeding. I may fail and stay there as another meal for the illness.
He nods slowly. Another sacrifice. Is there anything I can do? He strokes his beard and examines your equipment.
There may be. You can help me cast a spell of great power, but it will take much. You wouldn't dare, and you'll have to give up a grand reward. 'Tis a quest for the hero, the messenger, and they are no heroes.
You underestimate me. I show you what I'm made of. Before you finish, he turns away from you and looks at the falling water.
Then listen. Help me awaken Beholder, the good totem from the swamp. You've already passed its altar in the crossroads north from here. It needs to be fed, and it only feasts on spirits. The pneuma held in human blood, the magic locked in items. Offer them, and it will answer your call. But 'tis a hungry being, and it will ne'er be nurtured by a single gift. Who knows how much it wants?
He carries on without pausing, as if he's speaking from memory.
but let it grow and it will reward you. Take its holy seed and bring it back to me. I'll enter the village, and through the totem's power I'll replenish my strength and keep the pneuma before it leaves the lungs of humans.
He stands in the same spot for a few breaths and finally looks back at you. So I need to offer magic to the altar. What do we do next?
When you deliver the seed to me, we'll leave, though we'll need time to get to Olpagos and back. 'Tis a long road for a shell of my years, but the totem's gift will keep me strong.
Sounds like you're trying to push me into some dark magic, old man. He points to the winged hourglass on your neck.
Spoken like an inquisitor, with paranoia clouding your judgment. None of us would accept a sacrifice of a human life. To grow, the holder needs ne'er souls, but rather any pneuma it can find.
Do you ever have anything I could give to the altar?
I have no reason to believe your words. If you help these people, I'll admit I was wrong, but I will not give you anything.
What will I get in return for all this trouble? He looks towards a brown rat that wanders near the rocks looking for seeds.
Who can tell? I hold near treasures to share, and I'll do my part near for a reward, but for my belief that 'tis the right thing to do. Maybe the monks keep something in a chest in that disgusting temple of theirs.
Tell me more about this seed. His voice becomes confident and solemn.
Beholder bears but one fruit a year, and only if its hunger is satisfied. The heart of this fruit, its seed, holds great power of youth, strength and magic. Therefore, when the winter ends, the people of Howler's Dell gather at its feet and give away the pneuma held in their blood and possessions. 'Tis a sacrifice that would kill a single soul, but when shed by many, 'tis but a sign of acceptance, an act of overcoming pain.
I wonder if the druids in the village could help me. He puts his hands on his sides and looks at the clouds above him.
If they were willing to help you, they wouldn't send you here, at least now by yourself. They stare into the promises of power and the fears that such promises bring. For them, losing pneuma is a risk. You must understand that Olpagos is near friend of theirs, as it bows to the right, the creature that laughs when we wither. Many people wouldn't spare a tear for this place, and would much prefer it to turn into a house for boars and rooks.
Fine, I know everything I need. Looking for a job? If you've got one.
I believe your goodwill, and I'm in need of your help.
He gestures for you to follow him to the pond.
'Tis near a dangerous task, but one that I can complete by myself. And my spells aren't enough to ask animals to fetch for me.
He speaks very slowly.
You've already talked to Photius from Gale Rocks. He's in my debt, and I want you to collect what's mine.
You want to ask him about this debt, but he doesn't look at you. He points at a large, shiny fish with orange and golden scales that's swimming just nearby.
This gorgeous creature is an empress carp, one of the few animals that thrive both in the seas and the lakes.
I wait for him to look at me. You don't know what the man has... You don't know where the man has found a large worm that he now drops in the water, feeding his pet.
Ask for a male empress carp, but beware, I need it alive so it can mate with the one I have.
He stands up and approaches you.
I don't sleep on dragon bones, but the pneuma's in my blood. I'll use some of it to heal your wounds, though no more than once. That's fair.
I agree.
I'm glad. The Empress carp we have keeps our water clean of leeches as much as it can. One more would help us greatly.
Travel then. Can we go to the Beholder now? Maybe. You reach the crossroads. The tree is perfectly still and hasn't changed a bit since the first time you saw it. You hear the sound of a small creature jumping into the water. Approach the altar. Make an offering. Where's our sack of magic things? So, we have a satchel that includes a leather pendant with a single pearl covered with cryptic engravings. You use it for simple tricks involving light. Bandage for healing minor wounds. A couple of wooden spheres that get warmer when put near an unusual amount of pneuma. A wand made of a willow branch. Can channel a magical blast. We haven't used that yet. And our lucky button. tempted to try offering the leather pendant, perhaps? Let's see. Don't have it. I do have it. Let's just try pendant. Let's try spheres. Okay, does it as a okay. What is collective magical amulet? Let's just try that. Too much of a risk. Okay, well I kind of agree with that. I was hoping to offer just one or two out the bag. Let's just try blood. How much? Well, it's going to take a lot, isn't it? If we do this, or we could go get the fish first. At Gale Rocks. Is 9 hours away though, so we'll get there in time for dusk. We'd have to rest there, but I say we get the fish, and then we'll head south with it and hurt ourselves with this altar, and then the old guy in the Elder's Cave, he should be able to heal us. So yeah, let's do that. I think that makes sense. Photios the fisher. The exhausted fishers move slowly, allowing the other villagers to unload their barge. Photios keeps a lantern in his hand, giving commands to the carriers. I was sent here by an old druid from the south. Claims that you owe him a male empress carp.
What? I know nothing to that old fool. I can have it here tomorrow if you want, but better have a coin with you. I need to ask someone to look for it with a net, and that'll take hours.
Alright, well we need to rest her anyway. Yeah, I think that will do for now. Let's sleep. We can even heal ourselves a bit more. That might be good. Yeah. Rent for 2? I think we can rent for 2. Yeah. So I'm looking for big healing. I think last time I did this, it only did one section. I might have selected the wrong setting by accident. So I guess we'll find out. The shivers wake you up and you open the door slightly, letting the dense fog in. You see a few lights, most likely lanterns, and you hear a few patrolling guards. One of them shouts at you to stay inside. The harpies may descend at lone wanderers. Fogs tend to get more common in late summer, but the tribes of the Dragonwoods often see them as a bad sign. The wild spirits they carry are believed to impact both the visible and the invisible, and not in ways that help humankind. Sigh. If there are any undead in these woods, the fog will strengthen them. Okay, we still only gain one section of health. But hey. You're surrounded by darkness, so you quickly gather your things and leave the room without a word from the keeper, who's sitting outside next to the open door. The villagers hurriedly preparing for a busy day. The workers gather the wagons at the gates, push the barrels onto the barge, move equipment out of the sheds and shove meals into their bags. The alleys aren't much calmer. The overseers are waking up their crews and discussing their goals and plans. The only souls that can afford a longer rest are the children and the elderly. Some of the locals slow down to observe you, but whenever you meet their eyes, you find a challenge, not amity. You go to Photios the fisher again. Some of the fishers are still a bit sleepy, and Photios makes sure to see that all the preparations go smoothly. Did you catch the carp?
Right, and a few of them, most of them females.
He approaches the nearby shed and brings you a bucket covered with lids that are held by hemp cords. He lets you hold it for a bit. It's heavy and its weight shifts as if it's filled with water.
You'll need to deliver it quickly or it's going to choke itself to death, or die of hunger. I don't know much about keeping fish alive, but if it dies, I can sell you another one for another coin.
Fine, I'll pay him a dragon bone. He runs his eyes over nearby workers. Well, we're going to go, and we're going to head straight back to the old druid down at the Elder's Cave. Roads aren't wet today, so actually we can do it in under 6 hours. That's pretty cool. The family of deer you met some days ago has returned to the pond, this time accompanied by more members of their pack. One buck towers over all the others with antlers as large as your palfrey. It takes a few steps forward towards you, shaking its head. You better stay where you are. You observe their curious, lazy glances. Whilst the adults quench their thirst, the younger ones are playing in the tall grasses or basking in the middle of the road. It takes quite a few moments, or minutes, before the large beast orders the others to head back into the woods. Its bellow like a falling boulder. I'm going to wait for a few minutes patiently. Here we go. A flock of colourful birds is circling in the sky. The old druid is resting on the bench and welcomes you with a new interest in his voice.
Words of the help you have shown to my neighbours from Hallersdell have reached me. Good, traveller. Very good.
I'm always ready to do the right thing. He grunts vaguely. I've brought you what you asked for. He looks inside the bucket quickly and gives you a big smile.
Now I'm in your debt, traveller. Let me know if you need a healing touch.
He closes the bucket again and puts it on the bench. Well, actually, I haven't gone to the tree yet, have I? So I'm going to travel there now. It's only 15 minutes away.
We're going to make a blood offering.
I think we're going to go for clench my teeth and hurt myself quite a bit. I expect that's going to reduce us to 0 out of 4. I'm hoping the old man can do a fair bit to heal us. Your blood spills on the altar and sinks into it before it gets to the edge. The tree greets your offering with a sound of moving, stretching branches. You try to ignore the pain and prepare water and bandages to take care of the wound. Okay. Not enough, apparently. We're gonna have to go and ask the other guy to heal us. We could. One idea. Maybe I could go to the fish trap. Maybe I could. If I caught any fish, maybe I could offer that. Hurt. I'd like to collect my reward. Oh, full health. Thank you. He reaches for your hand.
Now, the less you blink, the less time it will take. Focus.
You look back into his eyes, enjoying the time in its chaotic run to entropy, through the blue flowers, butterflies, the sky. You barely notice the waves of pneuma that crawl through your arms. And he's healed us to full. Thank you very much, old man. Right, we're going to go to the ruins and we're going to check my fish trap. Oh. Womp womp. Sadly, you're too late. Your fish has already starved to death and is now eaten by dozens of little creatures. You open the lid and pour out the contents into the river. I step away. I set the trap again. I don't think we need to wash in the river. We're going to travel. Okay. Now that I've healed a bit, I could hurt myself more. I offer my blood. So this is probably quarter heart, half heart, 3/4 heart, full heart. I've already given it 3/4 of a heart. How about if we make another half of a heart offering? Your blood spills on the altar and sinks into it before it gets to the edges. The sound of moving, stretching branches occurs almost immediately. It's still not quite there, is it? Let's try something else. Let's try another quarter cut. Damn it. I could put the roast chicken on. The dead stoat? I thought it was a chicken. Oh dear. I don't want to go down any lower. I'm giving it 1.5 full hearts, really. The old man's not going to heal us again. So let's go wait at the Pell to the north. We'll rest there. We'll come back in the morning, we'll empty our fish trap, and then we'll try those on the altar. The guard ignores your arrival. As you ride in, the other hunters practicing archery and fixing their equipment in the courtyard. You hear the sounds of work coming from the armourer's workshop. I don't think we need him yet. Approach the guards. I'm looking for a few hunters from Creeks. Vashel, Dahlia and Adman. Were they here? I don't know those names. She looks at her companions, and while there's someone who claims to have met them, he has nothing to say about them. She then glances at the boar, which is now very interested in the smell of your boots, and giggles. Oh, it's a long way from here to Creeks. I mostly spoke with Ephron. Have you met him? Sure, he's a nice guy. She starts to laugh. Well, maybe I wouldn't say nice, but there's charm to his vigour. Dalit, right? Oh? She giggles to hide her confusion. Are you asking me out? I ain't interested in any silliness. She brushes away the hair from her forehead, the tangled chaos all over her scalp, cares not for her efforts. Well, yeah, half my life ago I was living on crops, but I bet you've shot down more monsters than I've shot down more monsters than you broken eggs. You much of a fighter? Many more eyes turn towards you. Hard to say. I'd rather have friendly blades on my side. Same here, says a man with a large scar on his cheek, while the rest of the group nods. One of the women mutters something you can't hear, which the others welcome with a chuckle. Dalit glances at them and then smiles at you. I never leave home without these goblin heads. No soul has told me to find glory in killing, even if bards so often natter about it. They'll take being alive any day, and a good team is of greater value than the best crossbow. I met Ilan. He says hi. She looks up, twirling her hair as she thinks. I'm sorry. Who? Foggy's son. She gives you a beaming smile. Ah, so that's his name. His accent is so thick I kind of misheard it. Forgive me. How's he doing? You gossip about the man and his companion, and a couple of the hunters join your conversation, asking about the Eastern Road, the tavern, and travelling in general. A good couple of minutes are spent on discussing fashion in Creeks. Some of the hunters regret not being used to wearing leather and furs, while others are convinced that linen is more convenient. And if you're cold, just put on a cloak, says a woman with a bandage on her neck. After some time, the guards walk away, leaving you with Dalit and the napping boar. I met Quintus, the one who trained with your team. He may need your help. I can't remember which one Quintus was. Well, let's read it anyway. You explain the difficult situation he finds himself in, putting emphasis on his he must be the guy at the gate, guarding the road to the forest. Listening to your conversation, the nearby guards surround you, forming a circle together with the boar, and ask you if Quintus is in one piece. Your tale causes the tension to give way to jokes. He's so scared of the wrath of the herds that he'd sooner eat his own bloody crossbow than learn how to use it, says one of the older women. Let's give the poor guy a break, Dalit interrupts, which is not welcomed by a one-eyed man who comments that he's not even here. After another minute, she grins at you. Oh, thanks for telling us. We'll change some plans and get in touch with him during our next trip. Oh, come on, not that. The same man chips in, but quiets down under the redhead's stare. How much money do we have now? About 10, is it? Exactly 10, okay. We could throw some dice. Got a bit of time before dusk. Surely, but we're doing it the right way. All 10 rounds, so it's going to take us half an hour or so. 4 players, each one bets a coin. Winner takes it all. Still in? Yep. We got 3 coins. Time goes by, filled with light-hearted jokes and chit-chat. During the final round, you get ahead of everyone and the spectators playfully comment on your moves. The winner takes all. 3 dragons are placed on the table and you put them into your pouch quickly. The table and chairs are moved back into the building and Dalit thanks you for playing. Is there anything you need? I've got a job for your crew. There are some goblins in the nearby ruins that pose a danger. Oh, as long as it involves someone paying for it, I'm ready to listen. What do you know about the pack? Without interruptions, you tell as much as you can. Getting rid of them will do the trick, sure, but as long as those buildings ain't razed to the ground, new beasts will move in sooner or later. Though I ain't one to stop you from reaching into your pouch. A brief smile quirks her lips. Now, you need to take care of some things first. Hunters or not, we won't raid a lair blindly. What do you want me to do? She lists your tasks one by one. In In the meantime, bending forward to brush the boar. Make sure that you've looked around the entire village. My crew will get mad if it turns out that yet another lair is just behind the corner. Then be sure that there's no soul around. When we fight, we don't do rescue jobs, and if we do, they cost a lot. The boar grunts and turns around, leading her to its other side. Speaking of which, for you it's going to be... She squints her eyes a bit. 10 coins, but we'll take some of the loot we find. We won't let go of magic swords and rings just because. Not that I expect any. She straightens up, but who knows? Yeah, I'm not that fussed about getting rid of the goblins right now. Now let's walk away from the guards then. Just a moment. She runs in front of you, cutting your way with her wide grin. Want to help us out? I spoke with our boss and we kind of need a rider. What do you need? We could use another pair of hands here, someone who knows their way around the woods. You start to explain that you'd rather stick to the saddle, but she waves it off. So help me find a better soul. There are 2 people I've heard of who would like to join us. Erastos from White Marshes and Cassia from Gale Rocks. She rubs the side of her boar, then pushes it away gently as if she's asking a child to play by itself for a few minutes. The thing is, we already have hunters who used to live in these places, and they told me they ain't all too eager to welcome them here. I'd like you to speak with them both, and to ask the folks from their tribes about them. Before I make a decision whom I should invite, I need to be sure they can handle the job. What's in it for me? Coins, duh, she giggles. How about 5? I'll give you a few more if you amaze me with all the news you'll bring. Why not hire Quintus? Your question sparks playful comments from her companions. He's a great friend, she admits, but he can't be trusted with more delicate tasks. When possible, we'd rather avoid using muscles alone. What matters the most is getting out of trouble with as few scratches as possible. Who's this Erastos? A trapper. A few months ago, he told a passing-by caravan he wanted to leave his home and asked them to bring us his message. One of his past neighbours told me he remembers Erastos as a weak, quiet boy. I ain't sure he knows how to fight, but we'd rather use traps anyway. What about Cassia? She mentioned to Asterion she'd like to come here. She's a guard, but I've heard she's more of a talker than a fighter. Gale Rocks is so far away, I'd really prefer to not travel. But if she's the better choice, I may have no other option. Any tips how to handle this? She glances at the other guards, and the one with a fancily braided beard clears his throat.
Ask as many people as you can. In small villages, you can never know who sleeps with whom.
I'll tell you if I learn anything. You return to the courtyard. You hear the sounds of work coming from the armourer's workshop. It's getting towards dusk. You can enter the inn. All the scavengers here. The windows are open, and while there's a few guards eating and drinking, the hall is clean. The innkeeper is sitting behind the counter, contemplating an empty mug. The scavenger is sitting at a table, eating something from a bowl. I can talk to him. Hi, Roadster. Need anything? Enjoying your stay? It's not so bad here, not so bad at all. They bought what I could sell, but the hunters want my entire pouch for getting me south. We've agreed to a lower price, but they won't just drop whatever it is they're doing to escort me. I don't care. I'll wait for a couple of days, do some chores for the innkeep, rest from the forests. Once the hunters are done with their plans, we'll move out. He scratches his cheek and beard and finally sighs. But I do feel like I've eaten a troll shit, eh? When I landed here, I had my pile of bundles and trinkets, and now I'm starting with nothing. Again, I should have listened to the warning. This land belongs to no man. Not really interested in the rest of the stuff, so we go outside. Oh, I want to go back in. I want to talk to the innkeeper. Do I have anything he'd like to buy? Ooh, the winged hourglass. He looks at your chest.
One of my hunters would gladly take care of an hourglass painted like this one, for nostalgic purposes. How about 2 coins?
2 coins for my winged hourglass? Well, that actually... It opened a secret thing before, didn't it, in the mountain tunnel? So I think I'm going to... For 2 coins, I think I'll keep it. No fish to sell. What's he got? Getting a bit low on rations, so for 1 coin we'll buy 3 meals. That's fine. I bring sad news from old Pagos. The villagers were stricken by a plague. He sighs and puts his muscled arm on his head, then asks you about the state of the village and the symptoms you know of. After a short conversation, he observes the counter.
I was planning to get in touch with those stonecutters. Thanks for bringing me the news. Let's hope they can make it until spring.
About Glaucia's band. I have found out a little bit. Oh, okay. We still haven't got anything from there. Any leftovers?
Not today, no. Maybe tomorrow.
We could... it's getting towards dusk. We could sleep. We'll sleep in a room. And I'm going to do my Pneuma thing to try and get a bit more health back. You lose your senses right after you lie down. In the middle of the warm, stuffy night, you're entangled by your dreams, too tired to fully wake up, too accustomed to having a mid-sleep break to just get back to sleep. You're between the realms, surrounded by visions so vivid you're tempted to reach out, touch them, and stretch them out. They are your playground. Okay, it's a few choices. Once I realise I'm in power, I do my best to enjoy myself. I fly, defeat dragons, eat and drink whatever I want. I wouldn't dare to disturb the natural flow of dreams. I accept them as they are. And if how much I try, my nightmares interfere with the most joyful dreams. I try to break free of this state, thinking of all the things I was meant to do tonight. Oh, let's enjoy ourselves for once, shall we? Oh, that's nice. Got quite a lot of health back. The small room is quiet and far away from unwanted eyes. You take a calm bath, rest on a soft mattress, look through the window and enjoy the minutes of safety. In the morning, you find a stool with a large wooden plate bearing an aromatic breakfast, a pie with hare and cabbage, a bowl of plums and grapes, and a cup of mouflon milk. Downstairs, the innkeeper is putting firewood into the stove. He asks if you need anything. I don't. We don't really need to wash. We're pretty much as clean as we're going to be. Let's go back to the ruins. We're going to check our fish trap. Oh, it's empty. I don't know what to do. I'm going to go back to the beholder. Give it some more blood.
Must be blood. Must be fresh. Feed me.
Let's hurt ourselves. I mean, it's not going to do anything, is it? That's the thing. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna leave that for now. I'm gonna leave it for now. I'm gonna head back to Howler's Dell. And we're going to take the diggers and we're going to clear that pass. No, I'm not stopping to do anything with Roach. I tell some workers to gather at the gate. It's time to get them to the rock slide. You approach a few guards and ask them to help you with the diggers. The mayor's orders are already well known in the village. Your companions to be are healthy, well-fed and in most cases young. Their chattering is filled with excitement. The younger ones are eager to mention that they've never been so far away from the walls. The older expedition members are going more to lead and advise. They listen to the instructions carefully and are first to take spears off from the guards. It doesn't take long before you're ready to leave. The workers carry clubs, spears and a simple wheelbarrow, filled with food rations, water skins and tools. While one spade and one pickaxe were made of precious iron, other ones were made of either from wooden planks, or in the case of the former, or deer antlers. Still being in the forest, your companions share memories about their time spent amongst the familiar trees. Some were helping the hunters carry a large saurian back to the village. Others escorted the druids on their search for rare herbs. But as you get closer to the hills, your companions lower their voices. One of the guards tells stories about the local goblin packs, without hiding any gory details. Her playful tone makes others carefully look around. Keeping the diggers on their toes could be a good thing. Look out for the harpies also. The guard finishes one more of her tales, looking with a smirk at the workers. That's right, you chip in, and that's why we need to keep our eyes open. Threats may hide in rocks, in clouds, and beneath our feet. I'll ride last, so I've got our backs. Now lower your voices, let's not cause any more landslides. The others nod, and after you, regroup. The others nod, and after you regroup. We travel in silence. The diggers put on their leather gloves and grab the tools. They don't need you to provide further directions. One of the older men, whose arms are covered with healed claw marks, assigns tasks and roles. The guards take place on both sides of the rock slide as well as above it. Finally, as the first sound of the pickaxe cuts through the sky, the overseer turns towards you. He stands silent for a moment, looking uncomfortable with the idea of ordering you around. My job is to keep them safe. I'm going to join the guards, or I know it will be tiring, but I'll join the others in clearing the road. No, we're going to join the guards. I want to keep my health up. You lead Roach to the nearest few clumps of grass, then begin your patrol. The hours pass with little excitement, so at least you have enough time to brush your palfrey. I try to ignore the sounds of the pickaxes and gather my thoughts. The hours pass. The workers are in decent moods, and as far as you can tell, the work goes well. It's time for a break. Everyone leaves their tools where they stand and then sit on the flat boulders. They take out their food rations and start to talk about their plans for the evening. I'm going to stay vigilant. I'm going to walk away and look out for beasts. That's my job. You stretch out your arms and back and then go for a short walk. An ibex with long, dark horns and thick brown fur climbs up the rock face, not too far away from here. It's leaning against the rocks that seem too small to carry it, yet remains confident and quick. For a moment it gives you a silent look, not aware that unlike most predators, humans know very well how to cause harm to distant targets. It jumps on tiny shelves and reaches the top of the wall, where it gracefully walks away. You approach Roach, which nickers at you, happy to take a long rest in such peaceful surroundings. It bows its head and you scratch the bottom of its neck firmly. The overseer clears his throat, stands up and addresses you.
So far nae corpse.
He rubs his scars with a grunt.
But there was a boot, aye. Maybe the leg walked away on its own. Better grab your axe. We'll strike as soon as we see it, awoken or not. You ready?
Leave it to me and the guards.
You that confident, aye? Dunna get yourself killed. Witchcraft is witchcraft.
His relieved voice betrays his words.
Right now,
he gestures for everyone to stand up and gather round him.
Dunna have more than 2 rocks at once. Anyone hears anything or sees a bone, stop whatever you're doing and shout. We dunna need nae adventurers.
The workers move slowly, breaking, pushing and carrying away the rocks. The tension is palpable, but since all of them work at once, the progress is good enough. I stand nearby, ready to strike. Time passes slowly until one of the workers calls for help, and you hear a couple of huge rocks fall to the ground. The workers run, and in one case crawl away from the moving human bones. There's no soul between you and it, though the guards are close and you catch the glimpse of a moving spearhead. You pull out your axe. Hold your positions. I keep my distance and observe the corpse. You stand with a raised weapon, observing the moving creature. Its whitish skull is cracked, and the thin arms, held together only by pneuma, are reaching out towards you. It doesn't utter as much as a shout, and its empty eye sockets are like an abyss. The crowd observes the creature, at first with frightened gasps and then in silence. After a couple of heartbeats, the overseer points at the corpse.
That bloody bonehead has nae legs.
The shock loses its grasp. One of the guards pokes the undead with a spear, and before it manages to catch the weapon, it gets hit once, twice, and many more times until it stops moving. The loose bones scatter around. The first chuckle is followed by bursts of laughter. An older digger looks at you with a smile. Scary, eh? I almost ran away. Before I approach the corpse, I smile back at the worker. It sure did. The undead didn't even have its hips, and it was lucky to sit in an upward position.
Was this wretch buried by the tree, or did it get trapped after it died here?
Wonders one of the guards, and a digger responds by spitting on the ground.
Let's hope nae one was stupid enough to near burn their dead.
The hesitant workers try to stay away from the bones, but then the overseer kicks the skull away, sparking another wave of laughter. He cups his head around his mouth.
No, there may be another one here, and its legs may still be kicking. Grab your tools, we don't have more than an hour ahead of us.
He turns towards you and nods politely.
You know how to get rid of a corpse on the road. What do we do?
Well? I'm inclined to burn them. Not so much from the religion aspect as from we don't want them to reanimate. So let's burn it.
He sighs. Aye, hard to argue with that. Take 5 souls with you.
He rubs his hands together, then raises his voice and starts to assign new tasks. Cutting down branches with simple stone axes takes quite a bit of time. You take your tinderbox and gather at an old, dry bough standing in the middle of a meadow and cover it with broken twigs and bones. After a moment of silence, you step away from the burning remains. Without a word, your companions observe the unusual pyre for another minute. I move back to the entrance. At least there were no other undead in sight. As the end of the digger's work gets closer, they grow tired and annoyed, which starts a few squabbles. The overseer has none of it, forcing them to focus. It doesn't take long before the pass is cleared. In silence, the workers remove their gloves, clean their chests with water and gather the tools. I prepare Roach for the rest of the journey. We're heading back, aren't we? A group of harpies follows your steps, but after half an hour they give up on you, seeing that you remain in large numbers. Your return trip is safe and the workers cheer up quickly. I keep an eye on our surroundings, just in case. Your loud expedition gets noticed long before you reach the gates, and the villagers gather by the open gate. The parents welcome their children, the siblings and friends mock the presumed cowardice of their equals, and the kids ask for stories. For many of the members of your group, it was the first time that they truly left their homes. Since no soul approaches me, I ride through the empty village and lead Roach to the stables. As you're crossing the first bridge, a guard greets you with a smile.
Oromea will wait for you in the usual spot. She's glad to see that you're safe.
You lead your mount to the haystack, and as you loosen up the saddle, yet another person shows up behind you. This time it's the man with a large club, whom you previously met on your path to the priests, though this time he's wearing sandals.
You're summoned by Elpis, the Speaker of the Forest, he states solemnly, and you should see her right away.
I'll be there right away, sure.
He nods. We'll see, traveller, we'll see.
He turns away and heads south. Finally alone, you're left standing near the main square. I was meant to speak with Erastos. Was he at Howler's Dell? I thought he was at White Marshes. I could be wrong on that. You ask an archeress if she could point you to the trapper, and she directs you beyond the walls, to the edge of the northern pasturage. There, next to the creek, a lone wanderer examines simple box traps. They're placed every few steps and, judging by the man's empty sack, so far all of them turned out to be empty. Hearing your steps, the man sends you a glance, but soon returns to his task. In the city, he'd barely be seen as an adult. His facial hair is sparse and light. He's shorter and slimmer than most women in his tribe. His elegant, dark blue tunic suits his tanned skin, and the long dagger he's carrying has a carved handle. He's crouching, looking towards the other bank and playing with blades of grass. Dalet heard you're interested in heading south. He turns his head only slightly, as if it's easier than raising his voice, but he still avoids looking at you.
She did? Are you taking me there?
I'll try that again. Sure did. Are you taking me there? His voice is surprisingly deep, adding to his years. What are you going to bring to the table? He waves at the boxes. You see, caught a hare yesterday. Nay, in a box, in a snare. I can cut and dress pelts, too. You wait a bit longer, but he adds nothing more. Won't you miss home? He drops the grass on the ground, stands up and wipes his hands against his pants. Nah, no one to talk to. Can you survive in the woods? He gives you a puzzled look. Why would I? I'll go with the group, dig holes, sharpen sticks. Tisn't near like I'm going to put anyone in danger. This job is much more difficult than you think. His voice grows frustrated. All hunters act as if they're masters of the woods, but they die all the time. He grabs the nearby box. One of the walls turns out to be loose, so he adjusts it quickly and starts to wander away. Just give me a chance to do what you want and I'll do it. I can go any day, any hour. I guess that's that. You're wandering through the village. A man is showing a teenage girl how to chop firewood with a bow and axe. Two men in light clothing are carrying a wooden log, insulting each other in friendly banter. Let's go to Elpis the Druidess. The building site hasn't changed much since the last day of your visit. The druids are bowing their heads as they form a circle, most of them standing. A few of the elders sit on tree stumps. You're gestured at to wait until Elpis concludes the ceremony. After it's finished, she approaches you in silence. I thought she wanted to speak to me. Here we go. I was asked to speak with you about the rock slide. She looks at the nearby workers. Even though they're engaged in their own tasks, she lowers her voice. And 'tis a good thing that you came here first. She spares you a polite nod. The hamlet should stay as it is. Howler's Dell needs nae growth. Her shoulders relax as if there's nothing more to add. Tell me more. Our people need nae more gluttony, nae more opulence. No creature can ever gain everything that it dreams of, and that's a hurtful pursuit, a run that breaks limbs. Her lips get thinner. Ty's heart belongs to Hovleven. Give her what she wants now, and she'll be weakened. When the day of hardship comes, she will not have enough strength to accept it. Okay. If you expect me to lie, I need to hear your offer. Her eyes shine, lively as lightning. We dinna trade, stranger. We dinna beg, dinna bribe, dinna promise. We give what is deserved. We do what needs to be done. If your shell is nae empty, you'll do what's right. Oh, will I? I'm getting 5 dragon bones to do with what Mayor asked me to. Can you tell me anything about Arestos? She observes you in silence. I'm not sure why you would ask about our neighbours. Her voice gets lower with every word, but you showed us kind gestures before. He is young, lost and sad. To heal, he ought to seek a friendly shoulder among his people, not in the world outside. Farewell. Let's go to the main square. We could go to the trader. Have I got anything you want? No, we don't want to sell that. What has he got for sale? Oh yeah, I remember. Did you have any issues with Arestos? He wags his long finger.
What do you mean? He broke something again? And what now? He wants me to pay you back? Tell him to fix it on his own, or grab him and drag him here.
You wait for a few moments, not sure if you should ask how many times such a thing happened before. His breath is heavy. That's enough for the trader. Maybe the innkeeper might have something to say about Arestos? Did you have a chance to talk with Arestos lately? His eyes get gentle.
Poor kid, is he in trouble again?
I don't remember his voice. It wasn't that accent, was it? You mentioned that someone wants to offer him a job, but the innkeep lets out a sigh and leans against the counter.
Maybe that's better. Lately he's been struggling round here.
While he's far from eager to share the details, one part in particular catches your attention.
That's the thing with bad affection, you see. My wife was clear he ought to stay away from our daughters until both him and they passed 20. But 'tis easier said than done.
Thanks. Talk to the mayor. Thais turns towards you with a polite smile. How can I help you, Sir Boring? How about the fishing hamlet? She encourages you with a smile. The road is clear. She leans forward. Her voice is close to a whisper and cold like a gust of wind. I wish you'd come to me right away instead of opening your ears to Elpis. Her red lips keep wearing her usual smile, but the green eyes match the fury of her tone. She's getting meddlesome. Watch out for what she tries to sell you. Before you get a chance to answer, she straightens up. Don't let me wait any longer. Hit me with the good news, Sir Boring. After you mention the undead, she stops herself from shedding tears of laughter. A skeleton with no legs? Oh, that must be a good sign. Still chuckling, her hand reaches to her belt from which she unpins a leather pouch. You've done well. Our work isn't finished yet, but we're close. So close. She picks 5 dragon bones and then pushes them towards you, holding each one with a separate finger. Time for me to search the hamlet. What is this nightmarish trick? You read my soul, Sir Boring. Pay close attention to what you'll find. She rubs her hands and then starts to count down on her pale fingers. How many cabins are still standing? Are there any lairs nearby? Any sign of vagabonds? Soul-eating mould? Broken walls? The more you learn, the better. See you soon. She leans forward, and even though she smiles, her voice is close to a whisper. I wonder, why are you here? What pushes someone to becoming a Roadwarden? Lots of lying options. Why are those lies? Is that because That's because when I was first asked this question, those were other choices and I didn't pick them. I think I picked the new life, that's all I need. Or possibly the bottom one. Okay.
So mysterious, but I understand. So you're more of an adventurer than soldier. I'd say it's going to suit you well in the peninsula. One needs to know how to improvise.
There's something uneasy about her smile. I have a few questions about Erastos. She makes an odd grimace, trying to smile while expressing confusion.
I doubt there's much to say here. He's just a trapper, and not the best one.
Well, thank you for your time. Have a quick look at our map. So we can press on to the hamlet that way. We could go and check the fish traps. We've actually got a bit of time. We've got 5 hours, so we could do the fish trap, Beholder, Cave, Howler's Dell again for nightfall, I think. We could return to the Pelt of the North. I think Erastos sounds like a decent... It doesn't sound like it's going that well for him, and Tice doesn't like him. Yeah, so how about we go to the Pelt of the North first, and then we'll come back via the ruins. We go in... Actually, no, we're going to approach the guards, aren't we? We're going to talk to Dalit. About the hunters you wanted me to recruit. I'm ready to tell you what I learned about Erastos.
Can't say you dispelled my doubts, she sighed. I'd rather invite someone who knows how to fight when it comes to it and won't flee without an order.
Alright, well we need to go and find out about Cassia then, don't we? So let's leave this place. Hopefully that's given our fish enough time to be caught. Oh, I have to wait till tomorrow. Okay, we've got 2.5 hours. We could go back to the Pelt of the North then. And then check it again in the morning. Let's do that. Oh, it's starting to feel like I'm not making much progress, but I still need to sacrifice myself to that tree. We could do a bit of axe throwing with the guards. Might make a bit of money out of it.
If you think you can handle it, we'll throw 8 times, so it's going to take us half an hour or so. 4 players, each one bets a coin. Winner takes it all. Still in?
Ready when you are. You're meant to aim at the target drawn with charcoal. The person whose axe lands closest to the centre of the circle gets a point. Axes that fail to stay in the plank don't count. The person who has the most points at the end of the last turn becomes the winner. As a guest, you start with the first throw. Your axe flies well, hitting the very middle of the painted target and piercing the plank with a pleasant thud, which makes it really difficult for the other players to outperform you. A minute later, you've won the first round, but you can't expect to be that lucky every time. All I can do is try my best. Got 3 coins again! Woo woo! After getting your 4th point, the other players nod with respect. Quite a score! You hear from Dalit as she hands you your dragon bones. The other participants carry away the remaining planks, so how much money do we actually have now? 19 coins, look at that! Walk away from the guards. We're going to sleep. I'm going to start my healing ritual. And we'll sleep in a room. We've got enough coins, haven't we? And that should take me to full health, so I'd be a little better sacrificing a fair bit of blood to the Beholder after that. The moon is bright, and so is the night. You recognise shapes of owls and bats and spot movements on the ground. There are many stories about the moon's origins and purpose, and they're older than any of the doctrines known in the cities. These legends are shared not religions, but rather by tribes, as if they're a part of a deeper conviction. Something spread through the milk of mothers and wet nurses, or through the whispers of the trees and winds. So, the moon is a powerful spirit who watches and guides humankind. It's a large rock that one day will fall from the sky and crush everything that's alive. For some reason, it controls the weather. It gathers weak clouds like a shepherd and shapes the tides. Who cares? Or it's the home of strange animals. They're different but as bright as humans, sometimes visit the land. I'm going to go with the closest to the actual reason. Controls the weather, shaping clouds and the tides. We're a man of logic and science. Yeah, Yeah, that's pretty much exactly the same as the last time we're here, so I won't read all that text, but we can ask about any leftovers. Not today, maybe tomorrow. Okay, well, let's actually eat one of our rations then. We've got a few. So actually, we are now full health, full nourishment. We're pretty clean. All our magic, we're doing really well. It won't last. We go outside, and we're going to travel, and we're going to go to check our fish trap again. Still empty. Oh my god. Okay. So with this beholder thing, the thing that's given me pause is I don't know if the blood I'm dropping is getting added to, or if it starts from 0 at the end of each day, or each time you visit this site. You know, so I could sacrifice, say, 3/4 of my health to this thing, and it does nothing. Oh, get off blood. And hurt myself quite a bit. Oh, see, yeah. I don't know. I'm not getting it. Not getting it. You know what day it is, though? It's time to go and hunt the big bird. It's time to go and hunt Big Bird with the guys from Foggy Lake. Maybe we'll go do that. The surface of the lake is restless, and the cold wind strikes the tavern's hanging barrel again and again. You adjust your cloak. You spot a baited claptrap set near the palisade. Let's approach the foragers. Zavai is sitting on the ground, while 2 others are leaning against the palisade. They glance towards you, but say nothing. We can ask about the missing hunters first. Oh, I'm too tired to hunt. Is that because of my vitality? Oh, God.
Why would they?
Growls Zavai.
They don't waste our time, we don't bother with theirs.
Ilan's eyes are a bit warmer.
Efren already asked us. They ate there on the stairs and then left days ago. They didn't want to get in each other's way, so they planned to spread, that's all I know.
Seeing your look, he spreads his arms in an awkward shrug.
They were laughing, eating, all confident and strong. I didn't know they would disappear.
You consider his words when the shorter man starts to snap his fingers.
Wait. I heard one thing. Something about, that they won't go north because of the dark magic in the tunnel.
Oh, then it's smart of them, concludes Ilan with a humble smile. Better than nothing, I'm sure they're fine.
Little Wolf told me you didn't ask any of the hunters to go with you. The shorter man steps away.
Who cares? It's us who puts dragons on the table.
His larger companion blushes slightly.
Oh, it's nothing really. The days are getting colder, so the beasts are getting busy, and some of our friends are already missing. I'd rather pay a stranger to shield us from our prey than put our tribesfolk at risk. You know how it is, friend.
So, Cass, your boss told me you have some sort of visions. He meets your eye and straightens up, reaching out to you with his dirty hand. I'll allow it. It rests on your shoulders, light like a bird. Your nose tells you that he hasn't washed in quite a few days. I can't remember. He had quite a husky voice, didn't he?
The rite is the prayers of our people. I mean of the 10 cities. All the tribes, the empress and priests, merchants, farmers. We thought things were lost, the glory behind us. Punished by humiliation for our weak hearts.
He starts to shake his stumper foot away from your face.
But there's hope.
His voice gets stronger with every heartbeat, and a wide smile shows up under his beard.
The rite's test is behind us, and we, the sinners, have failed it. Now are the days of atonement and of the new cities, with new tribes and the cleansed land. We, you know, have to fix ourselves, change what we can, weed out our sins and bring fresh hearts to the holiest soul carrier, and let them guide us anew, with new tablets and prayers and a new church. The only church, yes.
Okay.
He steps in place, bursting with excitement.
All the rivers will flow as one wave, and the new cities, the reborn city, will wipe out the barbarians.
He spits on the ground.
And send them back into their chains.
He points his hand south.
We will come through the ashes, reborn into a power greater than any fortress, than 1,000 dragons, than all the ships and armies.
He steps back, lowering his head.
I, the humble servant, was granted this vision.
I nod. I see. He gives you a harsh glance and walks away, nodding and raising his voice.
Open your heart, or the wave will take you too.
Zwei presses a clenched fist to his lips, stopping himself from laughter, while Ilan looks at the prophet with concern.
Don't push him any longer, friend. He told you all that is already. He told you all that is already.
I guess I walk away. Loads of time before dusk. Could go to Gale Rocks, actually, and talk to the other hunter candidate. Or we can go through the old tunnel and see if we can, let's say, lay some traps for those skellies. The gentle wind brushes your hair. Listening to the hooves and rustling leaves makes you forget about your struggles. They enter the tunnel. Yeah, let's get a quick save. I go as deep into the tunnel as I can. I wish I knew where I was. Consider putting a trap here. I could tie the monster claws to a branch and construct a whip trap. You could hide the bent branch behind one of the supporting beams, though it won't be easy to camouflage the triggering cord in darkness. You need to be careful, but thanks to the tools you found, it will take less than an hour. You have enough claws, cords, and wood to build 2 whip traps in the entire tunnel.
Forget it, I'm too tired.
Back to the cave of the stalactites. Can I put a trap here? I can make a few foothold traps to slow down the undead. It would be easy to carve holes in the soggy planks and surround them with sticks. It should be enough to catch one's foot, even if only for a few breaths. Since you already know where to find some decent wood, you can get this done in just a few minutes. Let's do it. Back to the dining room. Put a trap here. We could... if we do the deadfall trap, I suspect we won't have the vitality for it, yeah. We could break the barrels and cover the floor with slippery liquid. They should contain more than enough to hold a drink, but unless you trust that your own shell can manage on a difficult surface, it may hurt you more than the undead. Okay, well, we need to come back here with more vitality, don't we? So, let's go back to Roach. Let's travel. We're going to go up to Gale Rocks. The workers are now resting, preparing themselves for the arrival of the fishers, while the younger locals still have to move wares and tools between the buildings. Wherever there's a table or a bench, there are people feasting on roasted fish and fresh fruits, and the smell of herbs burns your nostrils. The youngsters are focused on their play, overseen by the elders, but even they seem to have little energy left. The laziness covers everyone like a fresh blanket. Some of the locals slow down to observe you, but whenever you meet their eyes, you find a challenged diameter. Yeah, we've had that. Alright. We're going to talk with Cassia. Finding her takes quite a few minutes. The other guards claim that she's patrolling the grounds around the village, but you find her sitting against the western wall. Once she sees you, she straightens up, greeting you with spread arms. An outsider in our dreadful village. In our delightful village. Her shouts make you stop long before you reach her. And how can I be of service? Do you need help with bloodthirsty beasts? Are the treacherous bandits chasing after you? Have you lost the taste of life? Her sudden laughter makes the pigeons fly away. Speak, speak. Dalit heard you'd like to be a huntress. Splendid. As long as you can promise we'll head to Porcia for a filling dinner first, I'm ready to leave first thing in the morning. Her voice remains loud, adding to her confident gestures and cheerful stance. She's wearing a decent gambesson, but it's lazily put on, without tightening the straps and cords, matching her loose, dirty short hair. She's large, both tall and wide, but has a prominent stomach. The only weapon she's carrying is a club longer than your arm, as she swings it with enthusiasm. Her dark yellow eyes are as large as dragon bones, but you can't read much from them. Tell me about your talents. And where am I to start? She raises her club above her head. I can crush, I can smash, I can catch, I can dispatch. She takes a wide swing and steps forward. I tore out the first harpy head when I was 8. Bare hands. She shows you her open palm, twice the size of most humans. Troll hand, sister called me until I... She hits the air between the two of you. Are you not satisfied with living here? Great home, great people, she assures you. Great fish and salt, but the beasts, the space to grow. She moves her right hand in front of her eye, holding the thumb and the index finger just slightly spread apart. Tiny. Fighting is one thing, but the wilderness takes cunning. You catch the glimpse of her hesitation when she narrows her eyes, but she soon returns to her loud self. Are you this eager to hear the tales of my deeds? Want me to tell you how I lifted the curse blocking the mountain trail? Or how I led all them saurians away from our pier? Without me? She kicks the wall next to her. This place would have fallen long ago. Okay. Let's talk to... Gatekeeper. The guard you met when you first arrived at the village is leaning against the wall, observing both the gates and your mount. Whenever Roach snorts, the gatekeeper reaches for his axe. He sighs when he notices your gaze. What? Were you ever working with Cassia? He stops you with an annoyed grunt. Oh, what'd she do this time? Getting no answer, he waves it off. Right. I give her orders sometimes, but she's a tough rock and won't get polished easily. More often than not, she's the first one to run away, saying she'll get the others. Give me a break. I walk away. Bit of a braggart. Fulvia, do you know her? The keeper doesn't acknowledge your arrival until you call her. After she leaves the dark tunnel, she says nothing, waiting patiently. Do you know who Cassia is? She needs a moment to talk. Rufina's sister, eh? Last time I spoke with her, she was but a small lass. Okay, let's speak to Rufina. Once you enter the dark cave room, Rufina welcomes you with a nod. Is everything fine? I'm trying to learn more about Cassia, the guard. She doesn't look at you, but her hands start to move faster. And why would I be the one to ask about her? Fulvia mentioned she's your sister. She puts away her tools, leans away and meets your eyes. You tried to hire her for something, right? She's difficult. Taught herself lies, said with a strong voice and confident chest can take one far. But that ain't a good place in a path in a tribe. Like all souls, she has good sides and bad sides, but is too afraid to admit the latter. You chat for a few more minutes while the tailor's words are harsh. She can't hide the sadness of her voice. I'm not leaning towards her. I'll be honest. What about the digger? She's building a tower wall from her wooden blocks.
Cheers, outsider.
What can you tell me about Cassia?
Ain't she one of the guards? Oh, I don't bother with kids' problems.
She looks forward and makes a telling nod.
Speak with Tatius there. He trains with every fighter in the tribe, he does.
Alright, yeah, let's talk to Tatius. Tatius is behind the armory teaching a young pupil how to duck. Did you used to instruct Cassia? You can't read much from his absent eyes. Yeah. Not willing to talk to me. Okay, well I think I've learned enough about her to be quite honest. We've got 5 hours. Where can we travel to in 5 hours? I mean, we could head to Creeks. But I think probably back to Howler's Dell. I keep hating having to keep saying this, but then we'll go down and check the fish trap, then back to the Beholder, and etc. I want to get this plague thing moving if I can. Let's just go in the village. We'll pay him 1 coin to look after our horse. He nods with gratitude and throws the bone into a leaky bucket hanging from a nail, and then grabs a wooden pitchfork. You're wandering through the village. A washerwoman is singing about the last sunbeams of summer, but a heavy accent makes her words difficult to understand. A group of children covered in mud gathers by your mount and argues loudly about what's better, horses or donkeys. Let's just go to sleep. We're going to use our pneuma to start the ritual, and we'll sleep in a room with a comfy bed and try to heal up a bit. I'm not going to go back to the tree and sacrifice myself until I'm at full health and just hope that a full heart's enough to do it. Hardly any light reaches the ground through clouded sky, the deep night as some people call it, so dark that you can't see the fingertips of your extended hand. You try to look outside, but to no avail. Even the predators will spend the next few hours hidden, unsure what surrounds their shelters and hideouts. Not all of them, though. You hear cheerful howling coming from the heart of the forest. A hunt queen, or maybe a hunt lord, has already captured its next meal. I should feel safe in such a well-guarded village, but just in case I crawl to the window to make sure it's closed. Okay. We've gathered a good amount of strength again. I don't feel like I need to wait for anyone. However, this episode is getting rather long. So, I think we'll leave it there for now. My plan for the next episode is to check the fish trap. If we've caught fish, then we'll go and try and sacrifice them to the beholder. If that succeeds, we'll try and cure the plague. If there's no fish, or if that doesn't work, what I'm going to do is I'm going to head to the hamlet off here to the west. So that's my plan. Now that I've got more vitality, I could also travel to the old tunnel at some point and clear that, maybe see what lies beyond Gale Rocks as well. I mean, we haven't even touched this or the centre of the map, so there's plenty more to do. But yeah, that's my plan for the next episode. So thanks very much. I hope you enjoyed watching this episode of Roadwarden. I'm still enjoying playing it. A little bit frustrating that I can't get the beholder to activate, but, you know, we'll keep trying. If you did enjoy this, then please do hit the like button on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. That would be amazing. And in the next time, I'll see you again for more Roadwarden. Bye for now.